Spiritus, veni Sancte Spiritus, veni Sancte Spiritus, veni Sancte Spiritus. Come, Holy Spirit, from heaven shine forth. With your glorious light, veni Sancte Spiritus, veni Sancte Spiritus, veni Sancte Spiritus.
Welcome to your midweek word. In Lent, we will be focusing on how do we become well. Throughout our entire It Is Well series this year, we've had different segments of exploring this question. In the fall, we explored It Is Well, ... and we focused on our mind, body, heart, and soul. In Advent, we focused on how rejoicing is a part of our well-being. We just finished our Epiphany season, which focused on Jesus and how Jesus was made well. And this Lenten season, how do we become well? Part of that is to know what keeps us from being well, the barriers to our wellness. And so that's what we'll be focusing on this particular season. I have our Lenten wreath lit to remind us that sometimes we need to sit and meditate with what makes us unwell. Each week we're going to have a different word, and on the order of worship, it's the word at the top of the image that is a barrier of sorts. And then the sentence below the image is how we might become well from that particular barrier. This past Sunday, Pastor Ann began our series with Stuck, focusing on Isaiah 43. And how we become well when we dream and we imagine. And so she talked about how the Israelites were stuck. They weren't quite liberated, and yet they were still not where they used to be. And so they couldn't necessarily see what God was doing in their life. They were stuck in what was. And so I'm curious how we might explore if we are stuck this Lenten season. So I'm going to offer a couple reflective questions. And as I do, you can either focus in on our Lenten wreath, focus in maybe on the beautiful image that dawns the front of our order of worship, or simply go in silence and close your eyes. However you choose to reflect, I invite you to get settled for just a moment. Your first question: when was a time in life that you knew you were stuck and were able to become unstuck? Again, when was a time in your life when you knew you had been stuck and you became unstuck? As you think about that time, I want you to know what kept you in that place of being stuck, and what was the tool or resource or motivation that allowed you to become unstuck. When you think about how it felt to be stuck, how did your mind feel? How did your heart feel? How did your spirit feel? And where did it live in your body? When you think back on that time of being stuck, how does it feel? How did it feel in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, and where did it live within your body? Now, when thinking about what you're currently experiencing in life, does it feel like when you were stuck? Or like when you made it through and became unstuck? If you're reflecting and realizing that you might be in a place of being stuck, how might you use your previous lived experience and wisdom to become unstuck in your current situation? If what you're feeling stuck about is something that cannot change, might be financial, health, could be a relationship dynamic that just can't change, how might you become unstuck in how you view your stuckness? If your situation cannot change around what causes or results in you being stuck, how might your perspective change around that experience of remaining stuck? Being stuck is a part of life. Why? Because sometimes the situations and experiences we find ourselves in make it hard to see anything other. And so sometimes until something else kind of comes in or encourages or nudges or disrupts the current experience, we stay in that place of being stuck. Sometimes we don't even know we're stuck, we just know something's off. And so once we are able to identify where we're stuck in life, we can begin to take an initial step. I don't know what your first step to get unstuck might be this season, but I do know that dreaming and imagining a different way forward is a great resource and tool. When I meet with folks, whether in a pastoral situation, coaching situation, or even with one of my students in the School of Social Work, sometimes the question that unlocks their ability to see their situation differently is by asking the question, what would your situation look like if this barrier wasn't there? How would you know that your life would be different if you felt unstuck? Or if you had all the resources at your fingertips, how would your situation be made different so you could feel well? It sounds like an easy question, but so often we're taught not to dream and imagine our way out of things. We're taught to be logical, we're taught to have solutions. But sometimes we can't get there if we don't know the first step to take. So I invite you, reflect again on the questions I offered, and there's so many others. So sit and see what questions maybe pop up for you and explore where the Spirit might be leading. But no matter what, I hope you'll take some time to imagine and learn how dreaming and creativity can be a part of your experience of getting unstuck. And then once you kind of see what that world or experience could be, what is one action that you can take to move into that place of being unstuck? It might be a acceptance that you can't really change the situation, but maybe you can change your outlook on the situation. Maybe you've been trying to change the situation, but you've been doing it alone, and you realize you need to invite somebody in so you can do it together. However you might be dreaming and imagining being unstuck, I hope you can connect with the Spirit of God, see what creative solutions you might have, or creative ways of living that you might be able to step into that allows you to acknowledge your barrier and become well within that particular area of life. There's no clear 5-step plan to wellness in this series. Rather, it's going to be you assessing what's best for you in your life and in this given season. So I invite you to explore, lean in, and assess how you are being made well by acknowledging what barriers might be keeping you stuck. Is God doing a new thing within you and you can't see it? Maybe there's others who can help you and journey with you. So if you're watching this on YouTube Premiere, we'll gather together at 6:30 on Zoom Mountain Time to discuss this and other aspects of what it means to be stuck. And so, as we move further into this Lenten season of how do we become well, let's see what areas of life might be stuck and how we can become well through dreaming and imagining. Be at peace, be well, and if you're watching on YouTube Premiere, we'll see you in just a few minutes.